Hi, tonight I've come up to Breach Pond again to talk quickly about sliders and big antennas. I've been fishing here a long time and it's a deep water, and quite often I've fished well out for the bream and for the roach, and there's a big difference between the floats you want for bream and those for roach. For roach I'm almost always using ones like these. These are straight Wagglers, got insert tips, no body at all. This is another one. This is actually a slider, but it's got a hollow tip, so it's sensitive. Takes quite a lot of lead. That's about 2.5 swan on there, and the others are upwards of 3 treble A, 4 treble A, 2 swan. Another one there, a black one. Again, quite sensitive. Ideal for roach fishing. The moment you start to fish, it's a really big one there. Sort of fish you'd use, sort of float you'd use on the Nene, really. The moment you start to fish for bream, I think you can fish a lot cruder with a lot more weight. And for this, I developed fairly standard slider floats. These are slider floats taking up to about 2.5 swan up to about 4 swan, over 4 swan. Not massive floats. And none of them are loaded. They've all got a tiny eye at the bottom. Around about 1975, Ian Heaps won the World Championship in Poland, and he liked loaded sliders, and the Continentals noticed this and they started to develop their own slider fishing, and the result was quite sophisticated and massive sliders like these. These are by Maver. I don't know what that one is. Oh, it's a Milo one. That's 14 grams, and they've not only got a slider thing, they've got weights in the base that you can unscrew that, and you can adjust the amount of weight, so you can have quite a lot of lead down the line, but you can adjust how much weight is in the base. And that one's the same. That's got a screwable bit in the bottom. So these are massive floats, and the Continentals, especially the Italians, started to fish these at very long range in Italy, and they sort of cemented their place in different waters in world championships. And the theory is that such a big float will cast a lot better than the ordinary sliders. In this water, if I fish a slider, I'm fishing fairly close in. I wouldn't fish a long way out there. Probably fish within up to about 5 rod lengths, but often quite a bit less than that. And with bream, you can fish a lot cruder. You can start to put big bulk shots down and bigger shots, so you can have a number 4 as your drop shot instead of the 10s and 8s of roach fishing. So it's a different ball game altogether, really. And like I say, these are big old floats, and there are ones that are a lot bigger than these. I'm not sure I've even used these in anger. Yeah, 16 grams and 14 grams, so it's half an ounce of weight that they take. And you'll often see floats made for the Italian market, things like Colmic and so on, and they'll say a casting weight of up to 20 grams, and then there'll be other ones that go up to sort of 40 or 50 grams. So you can see the size of the floats they're using. That's a sort of introduction. See if we can fish one of the smaller sliders on here tonight, see if we can film that and take it from there. Expecting more roach and skimmers tonight than big bream, so let's start fishing. For a stop knot, take a foot of 6-pound line, big overhand knot, 5 turns through. Very simple. Moisten it, pull it fairly tight, and then you want the ends with about 2 or 3 inches. Snip those off, and you've now got a stop knot that won't go through the float, and there we go. We've now got a slider float there, resting on the bulk, a mini bulk, so it's only set about 5 foot deep there, with the slider knot still at making it about 12.5 foot. just swing that in, drop it down there. Float lays flat, bulk hits it. Lays flat, stop knot hits the float and the mini bulk. They're set about right now, set nicely. A lot of fish right on the top now, so I'm fishing 15 foot deep and it's absolutely solid with fish right up on the surface. I think we've hit the bottom that time. I hope you found this short video on fishing a slider useful. It is a simple method, keep it simple and it's not too difficult to master. When you start fishing a slider, find somewhere where it's deep close in, maybe 12 foot deep, a couple of rod lengths out. Set up the float, nice big bulk shot, maybe a mini bulk, a couple of foot below that, 18 inches below that, the hook, and maybe a dropper shot sort of 8 or 9 inches from the hook. And you want it so that each time when you fold it back on that shot, it doesn't reach the shot above, so those sort of things work out. You can have an extra small shot above the bulk shot, maybe a couple of foot above it, and that stops the float sliding right down onto the bulk, and that can be easier to cast. And as you get used to the basics of almost dropping it in close in, you can start to go out further, and then you're casting out a lot further, and you need to feather it down. And this is where you start to think about using big loaded sliders, because they will cast a lot further, not apart from the fact that they carry so much weight. It's a very positive method. It does take time to set up. Plumbing the depth takes a bit of time. You've got to move that stop knot up and down as you go and try and get it right. I think it's a sort of positive method for bream, really. Probably that's the ideal species to fish for with a slider float. Yes, there are times you can catch roach, and if you're in a situation where it's deep water, there's lots of good sized roach. I don't think it's a method for catching little tiny roach. Where the positive approach works, almost fairly crude gear, and you're pulling in a lot of good roach that are fairly easy to catch. And this is partly why this method has been so useful in some Irish waters where there's lots of fish to catch, deep water. The whole approach really suits those sort of waters. I hope you've enjoyed this video and look forward to seeing you again soon.